Hello everybody, I am Road2501 and today I have a special video, I guess you could say, because it's Forza 7 and the only Forza 7 videos that I make are dedicated to my mom, who is both awesome and hardcore. But she has an affinity for supercars and hypercars that me and my brother both share. So every time I unlock certain cars in the game, I make a video for her extolling how awesome said cars are. And as you can see right now, the car that's there, it took me a while to unlock it, but I finally got it. So happy when I did. But this is an Ashton Martin Vulcan. The interesting facts about this particular car is basically they wanted to make a car that wasn't bound by any rules, like road legal rules. Basically, they just made like a race car for people to buy. They call them track cars, but it's pretty much just a really expensive race car. In the terms of how expensive, the car goes from anywhere between 1.8 million to 2.2 million. And one of the more crazy things that you get with such a high price tag is the car comes with its own pit crew and a professional driver to teach you how to drive it, because it's that crazy. But included in that price tag is all those guys will meet you at a racetrack of your choice. So if you can afford this car, they pay attention to you quite well. A couple of other things. It's like I said, it's a race car. It's got a V12 engine. Time to go. And that V12 puts out anywhere from 500 to 820 horsepower. One of the really cool features about the car in general is it's got a selector switch for the horsepower. So you can turn it as low as 500, and then you can turn it up to, I believe it's 670, and then all the way up to 820. Because of the selector switch, I guess that's why they have the professional driver teaching you how to drive the car. But I love the way this car sounds. In real life, it's got this really crazy, like squeaky, screechy noise because of the brakes. I'm not sure why the brakes sound that way, but oh, getting dirty, bumping a $2 million car into other $2 million cars. But yeah, like the brakes are really, it's like you're stepping on a witch or something. It's really crazy, like high-pitched squeak. But for the kind of car that it is, I guess they need to do that to stop the car. Either way. One other super crazy thing about the V12 engine is it's so loud that it violates like noise ordinances. Like if you were to drive it in a city or a neighborhood, people would be very, very upset with you because it's that loud. Just gotta go around that guy. I think that's a fucking... Oh no, that's a Lamborghini. I think that's an Aventador or a Vino. Either way, I'm gonna pass it. One of the other crazy things about the car in general is even though it does the 820 horsepower, you'd be surprised to know that the top speed is only around 202, 203 miles an hour. And that's because on the back of the car, there is a giant wing for downforce, which helps with the handling, as you can see here with my OK driving. But the massive wing on the back, which is what helps keep the very, very fast car glued to the ground. That does limit the speed a bit, but oh my god, it helps with the handling so much. The first time I drove this car, I was just shocked with how well the handling was. Like, you honestly have to try to make this car go off the road. I mean, the brakes and the handling just make this a joy to drive. I've only got it set to 2 laps because I'm sure people don't want to see me just driving this thing around the whole time. Otherwise, if it were me, I'd just set it up to like 5 or 6 and just, oh, ran into that car. Yeah, like I said, I'd just turn it up to like 5 or 6 laps and just sit here and go nuts. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I was trying to do this. Look at that giant wing on the back. That's what keeps the car from taking off like a rocket, but it also, like I said, it limits the speed, but at the same time it also helps with the handling. Not my best lap time for a race in general, but it's an awesome car just as a car itself. And it's not even necessarily like the next car I'm going to show you here in just a moment, where it's got like a ton of over-engineering and technology and stuff like that. Like I said, it's basically just a V12 race car that people can buy. The tires are super expensive, but other than that, on the inside, it's very stripped down. There's no radio, no cup holders. The steering wheel comes off, and it's very tiny. It literally looks like a race car on the inside. The windows don't go down. I mean, you would think for all the money you're spending, you would want all that stuff, but no. You just want the car to go fast and be loud, apparently. But yeah, I've been quite fascinated with this car simply because it doesn't have a ton of like over-engineering technology into it, and it still like handles so well. There's a test circuit that Porsche uses, actually everybody uses it, to test the handling of their cars. It's got a ton of really sharp turns and bends and corners and stuff like that. It's like a handling circuit. When cars like this are made, usually they take them to courses like that to suss out the handling and whatnot. At the time the car was produced, the McLaren P1 was one of the cars that was right around its same age or production. When it had completed that test course, it was 9 seconds faster than the McLaren P1. And that McLaren P1, it's a hybrid hypercar, meaning it's electric and gas. And when I unlock that, I'll make a whole nother video to show my awesome mom that as well. But speaking of hybrid hypercars, and this is a car that is it's a hypercar, but it's also a hybrid, so it's electric and gas. And it's in fancy red, as my mother requested. But this is a Porsche 918 Spyder. Like I said, this is a hybrid hypercar. So it's got a V8 engine, and then it's got electric motors, which are actually on each wheel individually. So each of those electric motors can lend its power to the wheel individually, giving it a massive amount of torque for one, but also a ton of acceleration. Yeah, see, it was already cranked up to 6 laps. So, at the time that this Porsche 918 was produced, there were two other cars in its same that were produced around the same time that were also hybrid hypercars. The McLaren P1 is one of them. The other one is a Ferrari LaFerrari. Unfortunately, those cars are millions of dollars in this game, and I don't have them yet. But like I said, as soon as I do get them, I will make another one of these self-indulgent, cool race car videos. Or at least I think they're cool. The beyond the horsepower for this particular vehicle being that it's gas and electric, it comes to about 820, 850, somewhere right around there. One of the crazy over-engineering features that I love about this car is there's a gyro, a limited gyro like on each wheel. And basically what gyros do is they make things, they help keep things steady and turn smoothly. Like in an Abrams tank, the gun barrel has a gyro on it so that when the tank is bouncing up and down, the barrel stays still at whatever they're trying to shoot. In this car, the gyros also help with stability, but they also offer, I believe they call it limited four-wheel steering. So, you know, the front two wheels obviously do the steering, but the back wheels also turn, which just lend an incredible amount of handling. Much like the Vulcan, this car is just, oh, I love it. It also has that great sound. This one doesn't brake on a dime like the other one does. Keep forgetting I'm not in that other. Oh, they straightened me out. Yes. I love those mufflers on the back. Virons, Hypersport. Oh, that one's a Pagani. Yeah, awesomely enough, this car I didn't have to pay millions of dollars for. I just had to complete one of the race challenges that were in the story mode, so to speak. And then, boom, you got it. Which is really cool because it's just an easier way to obtain one of these cars. Because, like I said, I'm going to have to get somewhere in the neighborhood of like $4 million or so to get the other two cars, the McLaren and the Ferrari LaFerrari. Of those three cars, this one, the Ferrari, and the McLaren, I tend to lean more towards the Ferrari, maybe because it's red and I really like red, but I just love the way the car looks in general. Plus it handles super duper well, it's super fast, and just it's got that Ferrari over-engineering Formula One aesthetic to it. I am running into a lot of cars here. To be honest, when I do play the computer, I smash into them quite often, just because it's the computer. But on the rare occasions that I do the multiplayer, or the rivals or anything like that, I am very conscious to not smash into the other players, because that's just poor etiquette. Or poor race etiquette, I should say. Oh! There we go, a little wide. We got it. Look at that drift. Four-wheel steering. I think part of the reason I really love these cars in general is the sounds they make. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, Lexus, the Lexus brand of cars aren't in this game, which is just a travesty because one of the greatest supercars ever built that just sounds like an angry, like an android having a fit or something like that. In Forza 6, I call it my angry car because it just sounds crazy. Like, it's called a Lexus LFA. It's the only supercar that Lexus has ever built. I didn't know that up until a little bit ago. But yeah, Lexus has only ever made the one supercar or hypercar, and it was the LFA, and it's just a ridiculously fast, well-handling, pure engineered car. Funny fact, I found out Paris Hilton actually has a Lexus LFA, and hers is pink. So between the Vulcan and this car, I got about 4 seconds difference. So the Vulcan was 4 seconds faster than this one. 3 seconds faster. But yeah, this is Porsche 918 Spyder hybrid hypercar. Almost the exact opposite of a Vulcan. You know, super engineered because of the batteries and the gyros and all that. But still just an awesome car. It's awesome looking and it's awesome to drive. Hopefully within the next, I don't know, year, I'll have enough cash to buy those other two cars. But one of my issues is that I don't particularly, I don't play the story mode and stuff like that to do the money earnings. Most of the time when I'm playing this game, I play it in this mode, in free mode. And I'm just tinkering around with the cars and the tunings, making undrivable, super crazy cars that can't stop because there's too much horsepower or too much torque. But yeah, this has just been a short, super indulgent, I love my mom video, basically, showing her the cool cars that I've gotten in Forza that I know she would love. But real quick, let's... Even though this is an older car, and it had some issues while it was in production, I guess you could say, this happens to be one of my most favorite cars ever. It's a Ferrari 458. There's a few versions of it. There's a Especial, but this is just a straight up Ferrari 458, like the sleek look. And this car sounds crazy. I'll spare you guys the details of driving it because, you know, like I said, I could just drive it for an hour or whatever, but it's such an awesome car. Hopefully you find it somewhat awesome, and yeah, I guess watch out for bumping into other cars on the road, and you know, maybe pay attention a little more to when you're driving instead of talking. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and yeah, this like I said, this video is dedicated to my mom. Thanks for watching.